All right. So this is what you were supposed to see when you went into the writing. You were supposed to see this document. But because some of you were not able to see it, I posted a picture of it so that you could see what it looks like. Tomorrow I will make sure that it is in there again. I'll try again, okay? So today, we are doing Module 8, Lesson 12. And our objective is, today you will recognize that equal parts of an identical rectangle can have different shapes. Any vocabulary words you need me to explain? Aaliyah, go ahead and unmute yourself, honey. What word do you need me to explain? Aaliyah, what word do you need me to explain?
I'm looking for the word. I forgot the word.
Okay. LaShiny, you had your hand up. Can you stop covering your camera? What word, honey?
Identical.
I had a feeling that one was the one. When things are identical, they are exactly the same. That's why when you have a twin that looks just like you, they call them an identical twin. So these two rectangles are identical because they look exactly the same. These two rectangles are identical because they have the same size. And these two rectangles are identical because they have the same size. When you see two shapes that are the same size and the same shape, we're going to call them identical. So if I had a small circle and a large circle, they would not be identical. They would have to be the same size and the same shape. All right? So here we have two identical rectangles, and I cut them in halves. Both of these show halves. This one show halves with me cutting it the wide way. And you can see that both sides are the same size. And this one shows halves because I cut the rectangle the long way. But you can see that I made two identical halves. These two rectangles, actually I couldn't show you thirds in this one, but I'll show you this one. This rectangle shows thirds because I cut three pieces that are the same size and the same shape. If I wanted to make this rectangle into identical, I would make one line here and one line here. But I was not allowed to do that when I did this, so I couldn't show you that. If I wanted to show, Angelica, can you push back? That's distracting. This rectangle, I cut into fourths that are identical. I cut it first in half the long way and then in half the wide way. And then I cut this rectangle into fourths by making three lines and making four pieces the wide way. Today you're going to be showing how to cut a rectangle into identical pieces. I could also make a line going from this corner to that corner or from this corner to that corner, and it would show two identical pieces. Bella, go ahead. You have a question. Can you write it on the chat? You got cut off and I couldn't hear the word you said. Bella, can you go on the chat and write your word? I can't read what, I can't hear what you're saying. You're getting cut off. Is there someone? If you have your microphone on, can you mute yourself, please? Is there anyone else who has a question about the math? So you're going to be given two rectangles. They want you to cut them into identical either halves, 2 pieces, thirds, 3 pieces, or fourths, 4 pieces. When you go into your math book, you're only doing pages 51 and 53. I'm going to show you now. The reason you're not going to do 52, okay, you're going to do 51, which is this one, and 53, which is this one. You are not doing 52 because for 52, they're asking you to cut, and not all of you have scissors. So you're not doing page 52. You're doing page 51, which says partition. Partition is when you cut it into parts, right? Aaliyah, you're being very distracting. Can you take that water bottle out of the way? Thank you. Partition means you break it into pieces. Break the rectangle 2 different ways to show equal shares. You're going to break these into halves 2 different ways. You're going to break these into thirds 2 different ways. You're going to break these into fourths 2 different ways. Build a whole square using a rectangle half and the half represented by 4 small triangles. You're going to draw the shape in this space. If you have your math book, you're going to draw it right in your math book. If not, you're going to do it on a different piece of paper. Then for page 53, it says partition the rectangles in 2 different ways to show equal shares. You're going to break these 2 to show halves 2 different ways. These in thirds to show thirds 2 different ways. These 2 into fourths. The same with this one's halves, thirds, and fourths. You are skipping 52 because you do not have, most of you do not have scissors, okay? Any other questions on the math? All right. You're going to do pages 51 and 53. Then you're going to go into iReady Math. And we will have our closing at 3:20. Our last meeting today is at 3:20 where we're going to go over the math. Okay? All right, everybody, go ahead and go work on math. I will see you at 3:20. Angelica, you can leave the meeting. Jesslyn, you can leave the meeting.